So it is Saturday, November 9th. It is the anniversary of the fall of the Berlin Wall. And as I'm recording, Russia is now embroiled in a war in Ukraine that it has echoes of the former Soviet Union. But this was what it looked like at a time when people were celebrating the fall of the Berlin Wall. Let's look at a few things here. This is just a fascinating before and after look of this is the same street he's walking down that see the fence with the barbed wire and separating East and West Germany. East Germany was the furthest advance of the Russians, then Soviets, into Europe. Like that was the furthest outpost. This is Darth Putin, the parody website, talking about how on this day in 1989, the Berlin Wall didn't fall. The East German government unveiled a reform package. This involved opening 18 crossing points into the capitalist West, which was the best tanky cope ever. Here's Ronald Reagan talking about Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall, which is a phrase that we're familiar with from history.
General Secretary Gorbachev, if you seek peace, if you seek prosperity for the Soviet Union and Eastern Europe, if you seek liberalization, come here to this gate. Mr. Gorbachev, open this gate. Mr. Gorbachev. Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
Okay, it turns out he would, or the people of Germany would, very shortly. This is on the 35th anniversary of the Berlin Wall. We look inside a Soviet base, and I'm not showing you the inside of the Soviet base, but I am showing you just this last little bit, this last little comment. So they're tearing this down, and then after the fall of the Berlin Wall, Russia withdrew its forces. We left with the feeling of huge injustice, says a Soviet. We and our Western allies had reached Germany at the same time, but we were the only ones leaving. Well, that's not entirely true because it's not like Americans were trying to keep the ground. They were turning it over to the Germans before that. This is the last Russian soldier to leave Germany. It was Colonel General Anton Terentiev. The country that had contributed the most to the defeat of fascism was leaving. Well, okay, I get it, but the others stayed. But the others stayed not to dominate Germany. There's a base there, the U.S. base there, but they're not like involved in the politics or controlling the people or anything along those lines. So it's a little bit different than what he's saying here. Okay, 20-year-old Chris Jeffrey was the last person to be shot at the Berlin Wall 9 months before the 9 November 1989. He died climbing the wall with a friend, unarmed, seeking a life in freedom. I'm pretty sure that if somebody from the West was trying to climb the wall, Western forces wouldn't have shot them, trying to keep them from escaping into East Germany. So there's a big difference here. So here's the BBC showing the newspapers on that day, dancing on the wall, the Iron Curtain swept aside, end of the Berlin Wall, communists open the Berlin Wall, Germany opens the borders. Together at last. We belong together, down with the wall. Reds smash down the wall. We are one nation. It's pretty amazing what was happening when the Berlin Wall fell. Now this is Roberta Metsola, the European Parliament President. The fall of the Berlin Wall was the culmination of years of determination and sacrifice. It marked a new page in Europe's history, with millions of people finally free to choose their destiny. 35 years on, our duty is to keep tearing down walls and work every day for freedom and peace. We're going to watch this. She said this: I was a child when the Berlin Wall came down, but I remember clearly the sense of unbridled joy of millions of Europeans finally free to choose their destiny. That sense of victory, of overcoming impossible odds. The future suddenly was limitless. That was a tangible expression. Look at all the people just banging on the wall of what Europe meant to people around the world. It was a personification of hope. We must never go back to a divided continent. Our Europe is one where we live together, united. A Europe of peace, a Europe of hope, a Europe where we put down walls. What a great message. All right, last we'll end with this. Darth Putin, on this day in 1989, crowds of CIA-sponsored fascists in pay of Soros stormed the Berlin Wall to begin an illegal annexation of East Germany. Yeah, sure, that's what happened. All right, my friends, that's all that I have. Thank you for likes, shares, subscribes, and thank you for being the kind of person that cares about Ukraine.